Alrighty, hosses, welcome back, and in this video I want to talk to you guys about something called a mixin and how you can use parameters with them. In other words, whenever you have a rule in Sass and you need to give it additional information in order to work, this is how you do it. And for this example, what I'm going to be doing is I kept my demo from the last tutorial where we had a little panel and a big panel, and I'll add a border radius to these. In other words, you see how these corners are square right now? I'm going to add a little curve to them. And if you guys ever did this before, then you know that whenever you just want to add a curved corner to something, it's kind of a pain in the butt because every browser, you need to tell it how to work differently. So you can have a class called border radius, and you would typically do something like this. WebKit border radius, and this is how you tell it for WebKit browsers like Chrome, and just give it something like 5 pixels. And let me copy this because we need to do it for everything. So WebKit border radius, also going to have a Moz border radius for Firefox, MS border radius, and then just regular border radius. So let me actually do all this right now. So there's WebKit, and then there's Moz for Firefox, and then there is, I believe it's a MS for Internet Explorer, Microsoft. And you're looking at this and you're like, okay, so this is a lot of work, and anytime I want to add, just a curved corner to something, this is what I have to do. And remember, the one rule that I told you guys is that you never want to repeat yourself in web design. So we're looking at this and we already know that it's inefficient. So instead of just taking this and either extending it over and over, what we can do is we can actually use mixins and we can use parameters. So instead of just having the same curviness of 5 pixels, we can actually pass in this value since we're going to be using it over and over again. So first let me show you how to include a mixin. So a mixin is just a chunk of code, which is in this case this, that we're going to include in other places. And in this example, a little panel and big panel. So in order to make a mixin, before whatever name of your rule is, type @mixin. This means that I'm going to take this code and mix it in to somewhere else. I guess that's what it means. And also after this, if I want to give myself a little bit more flexibility, I can add something called a parameter. And a parameter is just additional information. So instead of just having a fixed value of 5 pixels for every single corner, I can actually, right after the name right here, I can type another variable called like radius. Now I'll take this and let me paste this. My stupid cursor would work properly right here whenever I would have that hard-coded value. So now let's go ahead and include this chunk and see how it works. So right in whatever properties you want to use this mixin, type @include, and since you're including this border radius, you can see in the little text hint there that whenever you include it, it needs an additional piece of information in order to work, and that's the radius. So for this one, I'll just say 5 pixels. And let me do the same thing, but I'm going to change the pixel or roundiness of the corners in this bottom rule right here, and I'll change this one to 20. So real quick, I'll show you guys what this compiles to. So basically, we're taking this mixin right here, we're copying it and pasting it wherever we include it, but we're also giving it an additional piece of information. Sound like, I don't even know, Sean Connery or something. And depending on what we pass in, that's what it's going to use. So this one used 5 pixels and this one used 20 pixels, so check it out. So little panel has a slight roundiness, and big panel, this has a border radius of 20 pixels, so that got very roundy. I guess that's the technical term, roundiness. I doubt that is the technical term, but it is in this video, whatever. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you use a mixin. Basically, a little snippet of code that you can pass in custom values to set your properties equal to those values. See you next video.